Center. Thank you for turning in. We will have a few different questions, so hopefully you'll be able to participate. I am assisted by Katrina, who is here in the back. She'll help you with any technical issues, but also when you have comments, when you have answers, she'll let me know, and then we'll get your opinions and thoughts in on that. You're turning in today to watch Making the Most of Your University Career Center. So we're going to be talking about not only our University Career Center career fair, but engineering career fair, architecture career fair, any career fair that might be coming up, so that you are best prepared for that as you can be. Just to gauge a little bit of who you guys are out there, little question. So what class are you guys in at this point? Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, grad student? And I'll leave you a couple minutes to type that in. And again, your participation is most welcome. We appreciate that. Typically, I think most of the time that we'll see students that go to these affairs are more junior, seniors, getting ready to go to work, get their last internships or find full-time employment, and a lot of grad students. However, these are applicable to freshmen and sophomores as well. It's a great time for research. So numbers-wise, Katrina, still coming in. Okay, so I'll slowly move on a little bit. Well, another question for you, so not to tie you guys down. How many of you have gone to a career fair before? Again, this is where, if you've attended, what were you looking for? And if you haven't attended, what are you looking to do in this particular case? So most of the reasons people say that they're attending is to obviously connect with employers. Make those connections, find out about jobs, explore a little bit. That's where the freshmen and sophomores, you might be doing a little bit more of that. It's perfectly appropriate for that age group to be going to career fairs, even if you're not looking for full-time jobs, and actually for anybody. It's a great opportunity to find out what's out there in the world, who's recruiting right now, possible classes, possible internships to take in the future semester. So we definitely encourage that. Also gives you the opportunity to just practice networking with professionals. Usually feels a little intimidating at first to go up and just meet a bunch of strangers, especially when there's this big event like the University Career Center Fair, where you've got University Career Fair, where you have 100+ companies and employers there. That can be a little intimidating. So the practice is very useful. And then securing an interview, if there is a spot where maybe you've applied to a company already and they respond back, hey, we're going to be at your career fair next week, why don't you come and meet us? That's a great opportunity for you to meet them in person and make that good impression. So today, that's sort of the information that we're going to try to cover. How to prepare ahead of time, how to deal with the situation once you're there, and then at the end, what to do to follow up. So, time to prepare. That's that first part. You need preparation. Preparation is the key to this whole thing. The first spot I'd say is definitely go to our website, career.ku.edu. You'll get a list of all the employers that are attending the fair. And like I said, over 100 are already registered, so it's a big group. The idea behind this, you do a little research on who's going to be there so that you know which companies you want to spend time with. Otherwise, try to see everybody, it's probably not going to work out. It's just too big, a little daunting. So you find out who's going to be there, and by doing that research, you also will accomplish a couple of things. What kinds of jobs are they looking for? Are they looking for internships, part-time jobs, full-time jobs? That will help narrow down your search. What companies are you most interested in? And you can start making a plan. Once you figure out what companies you want to talk to, then it's doing a little research on their own websites or finding out a little bit more through KU Career Connections so that you can understand what it is their mission is, who their competition is, what their goals of the company. The worst thing that you can probably ask an employer at a career fair is, so what do you guys do? Employers tell us repeatedly that they hate that question, and if you don't approach it with that question, you're already making a better impression than maybe some of the other cohort that's going through. So find out those kinds of questions. Why are they there? Are they looking for certain kinds of positions, certain majors? What kinds of products are they doing? Are they opening a new office? All those kinds of, anecdotal stories that you can have. So when you approach them, you already know a little bit about what they do, and now you're looking to find out more. That makes you look even more impressive as a candidate. And update your resume. This is also something that's key to doing prior to going to the career fair. You want to have your updated resume, and we kind of talk about whether it's focused or in general. Most of the time when you come to a career coach, they're going to tell you you want to have a focused resume, targeted to a specific job. But at a career fair with, who knows, maybe 10, 20 different employers that you want to talk to, having a really focused resume may not work out. So you want to have more of a general one, and that may mean just kind of changing your objective statement to be a little bit more general, or showing off a few more skills so it's not tailored to a specific job in case you run into somebody else that you didn't plan on talking to and now you want to give your resume to them. It is advisable probably to have one or two specifically tailored resumes that go to the employers that you are most interested in. If that's the case, that's perfectly fine. You can have a couple of those that go right to the company, right for a job position that one. But if not, making a more general one is probably the most advisable thing to do prior to that. All right, getting dressed. What do you need to wear for a career fair? More often than not, we prefer the business attire, formal business attire, meaning wearing a suit, pantsuit, or skirt suit for females, and obviously the jacket and tie suit for the guys. If you don't have that though, business casual still is acceptable at a career fair. Ultimately, what they're looking for is somebody that's not wearing shorts, t-shirts, flip-flops, all those kinds of things. You want to be dressed. This is your first impression. Even if you're not necessarily going there for a job, you may still be remembered the next time you are searching for a job. You want to make a good impression. Neutral colors, conservative, minimal jewelry, hair combs, all that kind of stuff. Ideally, you want them to focus in on this particular area. We cover ourselves, 90% of our body's going to be covered in our clothing. We just want that to kind of be a kind of a blank slate, so it's not drawing more attention than it needs to be. You want them to focus in on what you're saying and paying attention to just your face in general. If you're wearing a really loud shirt, you've got really big earrings, clunky bracelets, all those kinds of things, they're not paying attention more to that style and not listening to you. And that's not really the impression that you want. I'd also say comfortable shoes, i.e. your dress shoes still, but you don't want super tight, you don't want super high heels, those kind of things. You'll be on your feet for a while, and it's just uncomfortable to walk around and that stuff. Minimal makeup, the same reasons. Cologne, perfume, people with allergies might be kind of packed in, it might be a little bit crowded. So you don't want to have those kinds of things where it's just a little too much. Ultimately, if you need, if business casual doesn't quite work out and you don't have quite the business suit that you want, there is a professional clothing closet here at the University Career Center. You can take advantage of that. So let me actually show you real quick where that is. You just kind of go to our website, again, career.ku.edu, and we have a little section on the professional clothing closet. You can see what we have, whole video and all that kind of stuff. So you come down to 110 Bird Union. Feel free. We've got stocked up at the moment, but we get donations throughout the year, and you can take up to 5 items with no charge. So they're just yours. So you come in, you find something that fits, looks right for you, you just walk out here. We make it as easy as possible on that. And we really appreciate any donations, but that's not usually in the college budget, so that's fine if you don't have it. All right, so I'm going to come back to our. All right, so the next question, what should you bring? Typically, you're going to bring extra copies of your resume. And extra copies mean what? Depending on how many companies you find when you do research, you go, okay, I'm going to really make sure I meet these 5. Maybe there's 5 more that I could talk to, and then you want to bring in some extras from that. So at least 1 resume for every company that you want to talk to, and then, I don't know, 3 to 5, 10 other resumes just in case, because there are lots of companies there. You might have a random conversation. Go, wow, I never really thought about that company or how that position might fit with what I want to do. That sounds really interesting. You want to have that resume to give them right then, so that you're making a professional impression, and then you have at least a little calling card to leave behind your information. Folder or portfolio, something to this effect where you can house your resume, keep it clean, not wrinkle it up, all that kind of stuff. That's usually helpful. And then obviously some kind of pen, notebook, something to write down some of those thoughts after you meet with somebody. So if they direct you to certain websites, if they tell you to follow up, if you want to write down the name, those kinds of things, it's good to have a little notepad and take those notes. Kleenex, hopefully you don't have a cold or anything like that, but if you have sweaty hands, something like that, having a handkerchief or a Kleenex in your pocket where you can kind of, long before you meet the employer, just kind of put your hand in your pocket, dry them off. That certainly helps a little bit, dry up those sweaty hands. And positive attitude and smile. From the moment you walk in, you want to be smiling, engaging. This is your impression that you're making. And if it's not necessarily your attitude, go ahead and fake it for the 20 minutes, 45 minutes that you're going to be there. You want to make a good impression. You want to look like that friendly person, even if it's a little stressful for you. All right, so avoid bringing a few things. We talked about what you should bring. Let's talk about some of the things you should avoid. Earbuds in general, headphones, something like that. It's happened a couple times for employers that would tell us, like, this person was walking around with those headphones. It just doesn't look right. Even if you're not listening to anything, nobody else knows that. So you want to kind of avoid that. Backpacks, big bags, if you can at all, leave them at home in your car. Try it. It's just awkward when you're walking around, you're in your suit, you've got your notebook or your portfolio, you've got a bunch of resumes, and now you've got this backpack and this big bag that you're trying to shake hands. It's really awkward. So our advice is just to leave that stuff at home if all possible. There is going to be a room in Kansas Union where you can put this stuff, but it's not necessarily guarded. So I mean, it's just kind of there for your use if you need to, but you'll probably feel more comfortable not even use that. But, for the females, if you need, smaller handbag, it's probably more appropriate than one of those bigger bags that catch that area. Mints, some sort of breath mints, those are probably appropriate. Gum, not usually so much. And you just end up, even if you're chewing gum on the way, you mean to spit it out, a lot of people tend to forget. Now you're kind of chewing gum in the midst of having a conversation with the employer. It just doesn't look as professional. And then finally, your cell phone, even if it's hands-free like this guy, it sometimes still goes off. It still generates that awkwardness. You don't want to look like the student walking around looking at his phone the whole time instead of engaging with employers. They want to see you interacting and having conversations. And in addition, the main thing is just to make sure that it's not awkwardly interrupting your conversations. So hopefully you can leave that alone, or at least if nothing else, make sure it's turned off. Right, again, so for all you online viewers, if you have questions, comments, by all means, feel free to type in at the end and check in with me. Katrina will ask these questions and she'll feed them back to me. I'm happy to answer that. All right, so we get to the point where we've done our research, we're ready to go, and now we arrive. First thing you might want to do, you'll check in through whatever kiosk system. You'll be handed a map of where all the employers are located throughout Kansas Union. Usually a good idea is to kind of orient yourself with the layout, try to figure out where the employers are that you've already researched. And you said, okay, these are the people I want to talk to. Because 100 plus employers in small rooms, it's going to be a little tight, so you want to find them, or you might miss them altogether. So it's usually helpful to at least kind of get a little oriented towards that. I put this in here just because it's me, but I think Ice Cube's advice from back in the day is still relevant. Before you walk through the door, you need to check yourself before you rank yourself. Yes, it's awkward saying it, but I'm doing good. Cube is exactly right with that. Make sure you have a few minutes that you're not rushing through. If you just walked in, if it's really windy out, it's cold out, it's really hot out, all the different kinds of things. Check yourself in the restroom, make sure everything looks good, your collar's right, your tie is right, you don't have any tags hanging off your clothes, all that kind of stuff. Make sure you look good before walking in the door. And again, remember, have that positive attitude. So once you walk through, you want to be smiling, engaging, lots of eye contact. Just be ready to go. Once you get in, now what? Now since the pressure kind of amps up a little bit, you may, when you first walk in, want to just get a feel for the environment. Tends to be, hundreds and hundreds of students, and even some alum walking around, so it can be a little intimidating in that way. You might just want to get your bearings a little bit. You may not want to rush right up to the employer that you're, it's your number one employer that you really want to engage with. Maybe you don't start out of the gate talking to them. Finding another employer that, looks nice and just, they're not busy at the moment, and practice talking with them. Just kind of start that conversation and see how that goes. Or for some of you, maybe listening to somebody else having a conversation with an employer, just go, oh, that seems to be a good way to ask questions. That didn't sound like the best question to ask. And you kind of get a feel for it. And now you feel a little bit more comfortable. Now you practice a couple times. Now you can go to that number one employer and feel a lot more confident when you go and engage with them. All right, but at some point, like I said, you do have to engage. So you have to kind of commit to this. And what do employers want? Generally, they're looking for just a few things for you to kind of start that conversation. We initially talked about the research that you would do prior to going to the career fair. So you're going to know a little bit about them, a little bit about that company, so you don't have to ask that awkward question right up front, like what do you do, what are you looking for? You can get a little bit more information than that. Then, what is it about them that, or what is it about you that the employers are going to want to know about? Usually your major, how far along are you in your program, what are you interested in, clearly your name, that may be helpful, and interest, and why you chose them. Why are you talking to them? Why did you stop and talk to this particular table? And that's it. These are professional recruiters. They like engaging with students. They want to talk to as many students as possible. So for those of you who are a little bit more introverted, a little bit more shy and worried about this, it's not the worst thing. Because once you start that conversation, hi, my name's Chance Clutter. I'm a senior in psychology. I'm interested in doing da-da-da. I saw on the website that you guys are looking for these particular internships. Can you tell me a little bit more about them? These are professional recruiters. They'll just take it right from there, and they're going to give you some information and make that a little bit easier for you. They're going to want you to, they don't want you to kind of sit there and suffer and make it an awkward conversation. They'll help you out, so don't worry about that part. You'll probably only talk to them for 2 or 3 minutes. Most of the time, employers are busy. The line will start forming. You don't want to take up all their time. You'll just have that engagement, enjoy it, find out as much as you can, and then move on, and that's it. So it's really not a horrible process, but you need to practice. And I know you guys are all online, so it's kind of weird to practice online by yourself, but these are the things I would suggest finding your roommate or just practicing them out loud at some point, just to kind of get a feel for it. But then, again, this is why we recommend finding another employer just to practice with prior to meeting the one that you really want to talk to. Once you have that conversation, asking relevant questions. And if you go to our website, again, career.ku.edu, you can click on a few of our links about preparing for the career fair, and they'll give you some sample questions to ask. But you want to ask good questions, not how much salary you can make or vacation time or all the different cool things like that. But what's their training like? What do they like about working at this company? Those kinds of questions to show that you're engaged and you're more in it about the experience as opposed to just about money or just about I don't know, free cars or whatever you might, a car that they give you that to drive around. Find out a little bit about their process. Ask them, do I apply online? Is there a certain person I should talk to? Should I follow up with somebody after this career fair? What is their process? Do they have any deadlines? Deadlines are really important as well. If you miss a deadline out here, in school, maybe you get an extension, you get 10% off your grade. If you miss a deadline out applying for jobs, then you just don't get that job. That's just how that goes. So find out when those are, and those are critical. And at the end, 2 things that you probably need to do almost every time you meet with somebody: thank them for their time and ask them for some sort of business card or anything that you might be able to follow on. Even if you don't necessarily want that job right then, it may be something that you look at later. You may want that contacts information for some other events. Maybe right now you're a junior, you're looking for an internship, it doesn't quite work out. But by the time you're a senior, maybe you're starting to think, oh, actually that wouldn't be bad. Who was that I talked to again? Those are great ways to kind of keep that. And a business card, which we'll talk about here in a second, gives you the opportunity to follow up with a thank you, and you'll appreciate having that information. Makes it much easier. But always say thanks. They're spending time talking to you. Go ahead and say thanks. Make sure you look like a professional. And like I said, the follow-up part. So post-career fair, you want to send out a thank you to the people that you've spoken with. Those are those business cards. Makes it really easy. You got their email and send it out. Something simple, nothing too complicated. You don't need to write a whole paragraph, or like a whole page just whatever. Thanks so much. It was a pleasure meeting you. Maybe we spoke about these things, give them a little tip of, kind of reminder that I see a couple hundred students that day. So give them a little bit if you had a specific conversation that they maybe you're able to remember. But thanks for the time. Oh, and it looks like we have a question online. So yes, go ahead.
Hi, Chance. We have a question from Jessica from our online audience, and she was wondering if it's okay to add the employers that she meets at the fair to her LinkedIn.
That's a good question. So adding employers selected, you might even have that conversation with them at that moment and see what they think is appropriate. Generally, most recruiters that I find like that because they like having access to lots of students, but it may not be their preference. So as you are meeting them, you have that conversation, you're taking the business card, getting ready to walk away. So thanks so much. I really appreciate it at that time. Would you mind if I connected with you on LinkedIn after this fair? And they'll say yes, no, or whatever, and kind of go from that. But that's a great question. And that's how I would pose it. If you forget, didn't follow up, then it's probably not it's probably nothing awkward about it if you go ahead and try to reach out to them. And then just kind of say in that connection from LinkedIn, met you at the career, hi, my name is, met you at the career fair, at the KU career fair, wanted to see if you could connect with me on LinkedIn. So do something like that, kind of personalize those connection comments. Good question, thank you. Outside of that, like I said, apply. If they tell you, hey, we have this deadline, we'd like you to apply by then you need to go follow through with that. Make sure that you follow through with whatever directions they're giving you, because that's going to come back on you. Even if you may not necessarily want the job, have that conversation. You don't know who else they know. You want to present yourself as a professional at all times, even for the things that you may not want. So if they say, we'd like you to apply to this job, and you're like, yeah, I'll do it, and you don't, that may come back to haunt you. So go ahead and follow through, even if it's something about, it's another opportunity, went a different direction than that. Organize all your materials. There's lots of materials at a career fair. People will be giving out information. People will be giving out toys and tchotchkes of all kinds. So when you get back, it's all a big bundle of a mess. It's like, okay, which employer gave me this? Which one gave me this? Just kind of sort all through that and remind yourself, like little notes. All right, I need to follow up with this one on Tuesday. I'm going to call these people, and I need to do emails by the other ones. Visit us here at the University Career Center. We're happy to meet with you, talk to you about any of the things that you probably run into with the career fair. So whether it is practicing an interview, which we'll talk about here in a second, we do lots of mock interviews. If it's about how to negotiate, I don't know, all the different offers you might be getting if you're in that kind of great opportunity. If there is anything else that we might like, who are these employers? How can I track this? Whatever it may be, or no, I found this company and I'm starting to think maybe I need to change the direction of my career choice. All right, those are great conversations. We'd love to have those. Here at the University Career Center, we're in 110 Bird Union, open 8 to 5. You can make appointments online. You can call our office and we can have to set that up. Whether you meet with us or not, you're probably going to want to start practicing interviewing in some way. You're just going to end up interviewing. So if it's not with us, with a friend, utilize the questions that we have on our website. Any of those materials you can find even online. Some of those questions can be pretty tricky. So prior to going in, you don't want your first interview to go in cold. Just like when you don't necessarily want to speak to the best employer, the one that you want to talk to right away and just beeline right to them. You probably want to practice a little bit at the career fair. Same kind of thing with your interviews. You want to practice a little bit. You don't want your first interview to be the most important thing that you're doing for the best job ever. You want to practice just a little bit. And if you're invited to any interviews, maybe you get some emails later on from companies that you weren't even sure about, like I said, at least decline. Respond in some kind of capacity. Accept, decline, whatever, but respond. Students that don't respond, it just leaves a bad taste in people's mouths. And again, you don't want your name being associated with that. You want to look like the professional that you are. A couple different events that are coming up, and you guys hopefully are aware of these. But the University Career Fair on February 12th, engineering, architecture, so lots of different career fairs, and then obviously every semester there's even more and more. Hopefully this at least gets you started thinking about the right kinds of things that we could do for it and how to practice. If there are any other questions, by all means, now's a good time. But in between, if you ever want to follow us Twitter, Facebook, check in with us. Katrina actually does a really good job with the Pinterest account. So that for when you're thinking about, what looks good, what's business casual, what does that actually look like? What looks professional, what doesn't look professional? You go to the UCC's Pinterest account and look at all the different kinds of pages, both for men and women. You'll see lots of good examples. I utilize that almost all the time when I'm talking to students about what is the difference between business casual and business attire. And obviously YouTube, so there's different videos. There's one about attending the career fair and getting ready. So we've got lots of good social media tips for you too. All right. Looks like that's about it. So again, my name is Chance, one of the career coaches. So from the University Career Center, we thank you for tuning in and we appreciate it. Feel free to connect with us in the future through our regular office as opposed to online. Thanks.